everybody, Sanbonani. Welcome to Reality Buzz TV. So, you guys, I want to talk about what Musa Mseleku posted on his Instagram. This is him responding to the feedback that he has been getting because of what he said to Mpumelelo in that sit down, where he was trying to advise Mpumelelo on how he should choose his wives. One of the things that he said was that Mpumelelo must make sure that he doesn't marry a woman with kids because women with kids are selfish, you guys. And then, you guys, the thing about TV is that when you say something that doesn't make a lot of sense to people, they are going to go and find out stuff about you to prove that you are contradicting yourself or that you are not making sense. And this is what happened with Umselego, because people went and they were like, listen, how can you be telling Pumelelo to not marry women with kids when you yourself have done it? Okay. Now he's posting this explanation here, which I feel like changes what he said, you guys, because this is not saying the same thing that he said when they were having that sit down. But let's read it and then I'll tell you what my issue is with what he is saying here. It says here, at a certain age, ungamthatha umfelokazi. Basically, he's saying at a certain age, you can marry a woman that maybe lost her husband. Okay, mind you, you can lose your husband. You can get married at 22 and lose your husband. You can get married at 22 and then lose your husband at 50. So at any age you can lose your husband, but he's saying at a certain age ungamthatha umfelokazi. Okay, meaning depending on how old you are, you can take a wife that has lost a husband. And also, you can take someone that has been married and got divorced. Umabuye Emendweni is a woman who is divorced. But there is an age where you cannot do it. He is saying there is an age where you can do it, there's an age where you can't do it. If you ask me now, I can tell you ukuthi ngingagana umfolekazi futhi unezingane kanye nomabuye emendweni. He's saying if we had to ask him now at his age, he would answer and say that he would definitely take someone that has lost their husband and someone that has kids. Okay. But he is saying, but if you are as young as 23, which is the age Kampumelelo, he will discourage that if you are younger. I am prepared to engage anyone who will bring balance opinion. Ethi Mpumelelo Mseleku, ungamithisi amantombazane bese uyawashiya. Those are my words and I stand by them. Okunye nokunye kwenu, let's enjoy Uthando Nesithembu as it unfolds. Okay, so he is saying the reason that he is advising Mpumelelo to not do it is because Mpumelelo is younger, but him at his age he would do it. Okay, now this is a thing that doesn't make sense still for me, is that Musa Mseleku did not marry Umangwabe at 40 whatever, He married Umangwabe Nayo when he was younger. They dated and then he married her when he was younger. He also married Umasawula when he was younger and Umasawula had a child. I do feel like, you guys, he's kind of changing what he was saying during that sit down, because during that sit down there was no mention of the age. It was like it is not a good idea to marry a woman with kids. Okay, and there was no mention of, listen, you are too young to be married to somebody that has kids. Okay, he's saying at a particular, I don't even know, you guys, ukuthi umfelekazi ungenaphi lapho. Like somebody that has lost their husband, what would be the reason that you would feel like you can't marry that person if you are able to get into a relationship with that person? This is the thing that I was saying on my other video, that sometimes if we take Ubaba Mseleku as the custodian of usiko lwesithembu, then we are going to confuse ourselves, because even he himself, the things that he does and says and the way that he explains things is like he is figuring things out as he is going, and sometimes he will say something and then he will try and find an explanation that will make sense ngaleso sikhathi, so that he sounds like whatever it is that he is doing or he is advising his family to do can sound right, you guys. I do feel like he has to get to a point where he is like, listen, this is what I want my family to do. This is how I want to run my family. And a lot of it has nothing to do with tradition. It is just how I want to run my household. Okay. Because if you are saying it's not a good idea when you are younger to marry a woman with kids, but you did it yourself, and here is your marriage years later, it's still working out. So tell us about that. Okay. And what about the other wife that passed away? You also did marry her, even though she had kids, and you were younger at the time. So you are saying you can take umfelokazi now at your age, you can marry a woman with kids now at your age, but you also did it when you were younger. Okay. Also, I do feel like, you guys, it will be more maybe enjoyable on the show if he just started talking about how his experience has been like, instead of trying to get Mpumelelo to do things this way. If he just shared with us and said, listen, I did marry Umangwabe, and she already had kids when she already had a son when I married her, and this has been my experience. Okay, this is what has happened in our marriage that makes me feel like this is not a good idea to do. Maybe I shouldn't have married her since she has a son. You know, I would feel like, for me, I would enjoy the show more if he does that. Share your experience. If you're saying that maybe you did it and you feel like because you did it, it didn't work out, what are the things that you can share with us to say it did not work out for me? The fact that I married a woman with a child, and these are the reasons, or these are the things that happened in our marriage that I feel like wouldn't have happened had she not had a child. So I do feel like he is watering down the comments that he made during that sit down because of the feedback that he is getting. Now he is introducing the age factor to this thing so that it sounds better what he is saying, you guys. Listen, he is still insisting that Umpumelelo has to marry the girls that he had kids with, okay? And but I still feel like, you guys, those girls still have a choice, okay? And I wouldn't understand if they feeling like they are stuck with Umpumelelo just because they have kids with Umpumelelo. They are not stuck with Umpumelelo. They can absolutely make a choice to say, I do not want to get into this marriage, even though they have kids. And it's the same, you guys, with Umpumelelo. Of course, it shocks us that and now he's talking about wanting a virgin. But if we are being honest, you guys, he has a right to say, in fact, I don't want to marry any of these women. I want to marry, different women. It's going to sound unfair, but he wasn't married to them. They were just a jollaring, bajolile, babanengane, and if he wants to get married, he can choose someone else. That's why I never understood it on his Zestembo when they started calling each other Mamkulu this, Mamkulu that, because I felt like it was too early. Nobody had been lobolwad yet, nobody was married yet. So they were just taking titles that I don't even know how they came about. Okay. So let me read a few comments here. One follower says, I mean, I hear you. He has no business marrying a woman who has a child at the age of 23. He should marry his baby mama's Clar. Okay. Listen, you guys, I still feel like nobody can say to somebody, don't do this. I feel like you can talk about your own experience and say, I did this and this was my experience, and I will share it with you, but it is still your choice whether you want to do that or not. Amazwi kaMthombeni asamile awokuthi wamithisa uyamthatha danki lwandle. I feel like, you guys, for me, those words would be wamithisa uyamthatha uma umthanda. I think that has to be added somewhere there, you guys, because at the end of the day, fanele kube happy emshadweni. So just the fact that you have a child with somebody doesn't mean that now they have to marry you. And this is something that even younger girls have to understand. Just because somebody made a child with you, they are not obligated to marry you. Okay. In no time understand, but they're making it feel like that is the thing. And it's not the thing. If uzale ingane nomuntu and you love that person and you want to make a home with that person, then you have to marry them. But if any of those is missing, if love is missing, for an example, you don't have to. You can just raise your child together. Kids have to understand that there is an option. You can have a child and decide that you are just going to raise your child together, but you're not going to marry each other if you don't love and respect each other. So it requires so much more than just you having a child. Mina, I was shocked when Pumelelo said the two baby mamas, none of them is going to be the first wife. He's going to look for a first wife. I don't believe, you guys, that he is going to look for the first wife. I believe that he has already found the first wife. Okay. If you listen to that conversation at the table, he's actually saying that he has someone already, he has a virgin already that he wants to make number one in terms of the number of wives that he's going to marry, the sequence of the wives that he's going to marry. So there is a girl somewhere, maybe she will be introduced to us in the future, but I do believe that that girl already exists. And then he says here, English Yako is on another level. A man with a beautiful smile. Abanye-ke guys, angifuni ukuqamba amanga, in the comment section bahlezi besifunela kuMseleku. I don't know if they think that Mseleku will read your comment and be like, oh my God, come and be number 5. I don't know, you guys. And then this one says, "Oh, kwafundiswa amantombazane indlela yokuziphatha. When are we teaching our boys indlela yokuziphatha nokuphatha amantombazane? Kusazoqhubeka kwenzekayo ezandleni zotata kubi ukuba asibafundise ukuziphatha, ukuba sima ngokulungisa icala elinye siqwaba izandla, siliqwa izandla." See, Sinde City, uyindoda phofu emoshile, rules are forbidden. Exactly, you guys. Basically, this video is saying, listen, when are we going to do the same thing that we do with girls, where we teach them ukuthi baziphathe kahle? How come we don't do that for boys? When boys do the same thing that girls do, that we will be disappointed with when girls do it. We are not disappointed when the boys are doing it. In fact, we celebrate it. How come we do that? Mina ngivumelana nawe Mseleku, nami andiyifuni indoda enezingane, like more than 3 guys ngumthwalo onzima lowo, and uMpumelelo usasemncane for ukuthatha. So guys, here's the thing though that doesn't make sense. Yes, life doesn't make sense. Life does not make sense because he is saying, so Mpumelelo, don't marry a woman that has kids. But Mpumelelo has 3 kids and Mpumelelo is looking for a virgin. So that virgin must marry Mpumelelo even though Mpumelelo has 3 kids. But Mpumelelo should not marry someone with kids. Like, what the hell? And we are accepting it nje like angazi mina guys. Mpumelelo right, makashade intombi nto kuqala. Listen you guys, I don't feel like right. Angazi ukuthi ngayibeka kanjani lento guys. I feel like yo yane abafana. That's how I feel when he's saying he wants a virgin now. But you guys, he has a right to choose whoever that he wants to marry because he is not a married man. He's just a baby daddy to these 2 girls. That's what we have to understand. They can't even fight that much because they were just girlfriends. So he can absolutely decide to marry a virgin. Is it fair? Of course, it's not fair. Of course, it's not fair. But that's how life goes sometimes. That's why, you guys. That's why abafana kuzofanele senze i-date very, very soon. Bashiswe yazi nje sivele siziphilele sodwa nje ney'ngane zethu zamantombazane. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Nginithanda kakhulu.